by public comment. Login information, now that Zoom commenters can be ready. When we get to that item, to join the meeting for public comment, please go to Zoom. We'll call 1-699-900-6833 and enter meeting ID 865-1921-0994 and passcode 077604. This information is also available on the Diversity Commission on the city's webpage at www.pleasantvilleca.org/agendas. Erica, do we have a roll call?
Sylvia. Here. Kesha. Jasmine.
Here.
Daniel.
Here.
Lloyd.
Here.
Brianna.
Here.
Carson.
Here.
Jana.
Welcome this time to address the commission on items not listed on the agenda but within the commission's scope. There will be an opportunity to comment on other agenda items at the time they're discussed. Please note that this is the same login information for all public comment on other items on the agenda. To make a public comment in person, please fill out the public comment card and give it to staff liaison. To make a comment on Zoom, please log in to or call directly to the meeting by going to zoom.us or call 1-699-900-6833 and enter meeting ID 865-1921-0994 and passcode 077604. Commenters will remain as attendees until it's time for public comment. Once you're led into the meeting, please use the Zoom raise hand feature or press *9 to raise your hand and to speak. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, whether in person or on Zoom. Eric, any public comment cards?
Not at this time.
And any commenters waiting on Zoom?
Not at this time.
I'll now close public comment and move on to the next item. Do I have a motion to move item number 7 up to accommodate Jeff? Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion. Jeff, you are moved up the item. I guess you're pretty interested.
Awesome. Well, as you all have been passed out to you, and I know some of you already seen it, I did write out a little bit of an after-action report from the Juneteenth events, which was on the 18th of June, but you know, one day ahead. But you had several commissioners there, so I'd be happy to hear what they have to say as well. But overall, I think it was a very good event. With first-time events, there's often a lot of moving pieces that you can't account for, and I think we had very few of those in this instance. The only thing that really kind of threw a curveball at us was the fact that the breaker had been tripped on the AC outlet in the gazebo, so we had to move Unique Derek from where he was all set up to just over here by the fountain. That actually was a little bit of a blessing in disguise because he was kind of out of the shadow of the music, so he, was able to be heard very clearly, even with the fountain in the background. And he also, it felt a little more intimate, a little more close for the people that were there. And the feedback I got on him was very good. The feedback I got on everything was all very, very positive. The only, what I would say, critical or negative piece of feedback I got was that people would have liked there be more than one food truck. There was a bit of a line, but
Did we get final sales yet?
they hadn't responded. Usually, unless they need money from us, they don't follow up. So we easily hit the $1,200 minimum that was required. With the amount of people that I saw at the food truck, I could safely say we could probably go to 3 food trucks for next year and my recommendation would be to do 2 food trucks, so that are cuisine, and then 1 dessert type truck. So technically, you'd have 4 altogether because the Guzzler would be back as well. And the Guzzler did well. Yeah, I mean, there were no real snafus that came up. We had a couple of very minor medical issues. Both of them were easily handled. And in general, I think it was a really good first event. I think that you put some good pieces together and everything worked out really well. The only, I guess the only other thing from my report that would stand out is We don't want the bubble thing over here next year, because it left a very, very slippery area on the cement. There were kids who were, having fun with it, like running up to it and then trying to kind of, surf on it a little bit. And then from a logistical perspective, when you have these ancillary events at your larger event, you generally need to have at least one commissioner who's sort of overseeing that for the entire event. So either set up a schedule where if it's a multi-hour event, the first hour is one person, the second hour is somebody else. Having it not overseen, it can create issues if it's, for instance, if there's nobody at the bubble thing and some kid decides they want to take the bubble sauce and drop it into the fountain, I'm sure it would be very amusing for them, but for us it would be very problematic. So that's that's really the feedback that I have. I think it went really well. I'm really happy that you all were able to put together such a great event.
Jeff, I know it'll come up when we start planning this next year. I've heard some rationale, I think from you and from others, but one of the items that got discussed quite a bit as we were spinning this event up is why not merge this with the summer concert series? And so I just because I know we'll talk about this again in 6 months or 9 months when we start planning again, can you sort of give us the logistical barriers to doing that? I recall one of them being that, well, it would only work because of how the schedule is set with the summer concert series. We can only do it perhaps every year because of where Juneteenth falls versus where the summer concert series falls, that asking them to move their full thing backwards and forwards. But what else? Or there are not sufficient barriers, it's something we should try to pursue more next year.
There's really no barrier to you doing that as part of the summer concert series, but as I had a conversation with a few of you already, I wouldn't recommend it. The reason is this is your kind of standalone thing. If you fold it into one of the summer concerts, it becomes one of the summer concerts. So you would not have, for instance, you wouldn't have control over band selection, for instance. You would kind of lose a lot of your agency in planning this event. The CAC, as Lloyd I'm sure can tell you, they have a process that they go through every year. We get over 100 applicants to play 8 concerts, and there's a selection committee that sits down and goes through all of the applications and then makes the decisions. Most likely, if you were to fold it into the summer concert series, you would have one person representing your commission, sitting in on that committee meeting to help make those
The
decisions.
summer series liaison from the Commercial Commission to the CACs.
Yeah, so it's no longer so much a diversity commission event as it is a CAC event. And they, I can tell you for a fact that the CAC would not have a problem with taking it in. I saw your smile, Lloyd, I know what you're thinking. But the other problem becomes summer concerts don't have food trucks at them. It's something that we're considering on a pilot right now. So we may do one concert during the year that has a food truck. Similarly, the ancillary activities, the bubble thing, Unique Theory. We don't do opening acts in the summer concert series. So you would lose, again, a lot of the identity that you created in this one first event. So again, I will work with you however you want to do it, but my recommendation would be to try to keep it as a standalone event.
As a potential compromise, what about the possibility of, starting both, the process earlier and everything like that, but promoting it along with the summer concert series? So it's like, here's the summer concert series, and don't forget Juneteenth, blah, 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 to make sure that the group of folks, you're promoting to everyone, because obviously the summer concert series is getting a lot more promotion than Juneteenth.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, one of the ways that we can do exactly what you're talking about is if you look out on the LED board, there is a list of the concerts that starts running in mid-May and it stays up all summer long. So there's no reason that we couldn't put that in there and have like an asterisk saying special Juneteenth concert, you know, just and say who the band is going to be for that. That again, it hits that compromise, but it also maintains that sense of identity. And I think it's really important because we had a lot of people asking for this event to happen. And so I don't think, I think honestly, it would be backsliding to take some of that away.
So if the holiday is on a Wednesday next year, which is off the grid, right? Is that like a possibility for off the grid to skip a week or to combine with it? If we went to it on the holiday?
We would have to talk to Off the Grid. They don't generally want other activities going on. But I think if we started speaking to them early enough, I think it's certainly something that would be workable, and they like to have music at their events, so.
I think it'd be good to have it on the actual holiday. I think we lost a few people who would have attended, because it was on Father's Day.
Yeah.
But I think like having it on that Wednesday would be great.
I think it makes sense because Off the Grid would also draw. I worry that it would lose people midweek otherwise without sort of a co-star.
Sure.
But we
Especially for
can also
a
try,
week.
yeah.
You cover your food truck issue.
I think one of the reasons that the decision was made to do it on the Sunday as opposed to on the actual Monday of the holiday was that not everybody gets the holiday off. And there was some concern that, you would lose some people that way. The workaround for that could be started at 6 and have it go 6 to 8 p.m. so people have time to get away from work. And especially if you're going to increase your food truck presence, that would certainly, the way we would market that would be grab the kids, come down, have dinner, sit and listen to music, play games, whatever events you have going on in addition to the music. So it's certainly workable.
Does Off the Grid pick their own food choices each time, or would we have any sort of even suggestions to make sure that
Off the Grid they have a stable of clients that they bring in every week, and it's usually mostly the same 7 trucks, 6 food trucks and the guzzler.
Would
So-
they include the one we included if we asked them to, or
I'm sorry, one more time?
would they include, what was it, Sweet Mother? Would they include that one if we asked them to include an extra one?
We would have to ask, but Sweet Mother actually works with Taste of the World, which is a different company. Some of the food trucks do go back and forth between various companies. I don't know how that all works. It would be something we would have to discuss with them.
And this is an example, one of the areas we might lose some control over.
Right.
You would lose control over what food trucks you can have, and you may lose a little bit of control on what you want to do out in the grass as far as extra events are concerned. But again, as long as we're planning ahead and we're getting into contact with Off the Grid early, I think you've got a fairly good chance of being able to have a fair amount of control over what you have there. Dictating the food trucks, that would be a stretch, but you can always ask.
Do they set up the concert for the Off the Grid, or does the city? You know, how they have like the bands playing?
Yeah, they
do that?
contract.
They do, okay.
And it's, there's a live act, I think, about every other week, and then on the off weeks, they just have like a DJ, or they have speakers set up where they have a playlist that they play. And I've actually talked to them about that quite a bit, because I would love to be able to market it and say, so-and-so is gonna be playing, And I go on their website and look for the information and it's not there, and I call them and I can't get them to tell me who's gonna be there until literally the night that it's happening, so. But to answer your question more succinctly, they do control that.
Anyone else have questions for Jeff?
Let's see. Well, moving forward, do you recommend like a medic being there as we gather more people coming like to a big event for any medical emergencies?
One of the things that we've done with the Civic Action Commission with summer concerts is we have a safety plan. As part of that safety plan, we purchased a first aid kit.
Okay, like a station.
And what we've started doing with the summer concerts is this room becomes the CAC information booth. And we have a table right here that we put pamphlets, flyers, information about, city events and programs. And it's also where people can come if they have lost a kid or they're having a problem, or and that's where we also keep the first aid kit. I've talked to Erica, as she is our HR manager, about getting an AED for this building. And that is something that could happen at some point, but for right now, we have an AED that's less than 100 feet away. So it's in the city building. There's one on the first floor, and I believe there's one on the second floor as well.
It's only on the first.
Only on the first,
Yeah,
okay.
they're over our other city buildings. Yeah.
So we have access to an AED, we have a first aid kit. We, anything that we do from a first aid capacity is triage, very low level. We don't treat anything, we stabilize, and then we call 911 if it requires it. So for instance, the lady who fell out of her scooter scared the life out of me because she just missed hitting that concrete square that's off of the trail over here. But she was fine. Her husband and I kind of helped her get back into the scooter, and she was a little shaken, but other than that, she was okay. No bruises, no breaks. The other incident was a lady who had been dancing a little too much and wasn't hydrating, and she was pretty well dehydrated. Fortunately, it wasn't hot, so I didn't have to deal with like a heat exhaustion situation, but she was mostly, dehydrated. So I grabbed some bottles of water and just had her sit down and drink some water, and she was back out on the dance floor 10 minutes later. So.
Jeff, thank you.
Sure. And I mean, Erica knows how to find me. Anytime you want to talk about this stuff when you're getting ready to start planning again, I can walk you through what the process is for the CAC when it comes to getting ready for the summer concerts, because a lot of what you would be doing is the same things they would be doing.
When does Off the Grid start? When do they start planning?
When does Off the Grid what?
Start planning.
I have no idea when they start planning, because they're their own entity. I mean, other than us providing a location for them, we don't really talk to them about what they're gonna do. We work with them on making sure that the porta potties are here and that the street is cleared and things like that. But as far as like what trucks they bring and what musical acts they book, that's on them. One of the things to bear in mind when you start planning for next year is, do you already have a band in mind and you want to approach them, or do you want to open it up for applications the way that Summer Concerts does? I can tell you that option B is more involved because we have a very, very dynamic musical scene in the Bay Area, and if you put out a call for acts, you will get a lot. This last year, we had 121 applications. So, but if you happen, if you've been out somewhere and you heard a band that you think would really be good, when you start having that conversation, you bring it to your commission meeting, put it up on the screen and let everybody listen, and you can approve it as a commission and move forward that way, as opposed to doing the application process. So since this is a one-off event, I think you want to streamline your planning procedures as much as possible, and just figure out what you want to do and then move forward with it. So,
Thank you very much.
sure, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. I know this is not specifically the agenda item, but I will put on your radar that Light Up the Night will be on Saturday, December 2nd. And if the commission would like to have a table again this year, you know what day it'll be. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Commissioners, please take this time to review the May 16th minutes if you've not done so. While we wait for commenters on the side. I'll now open public comment on the side to approve May 16th regular meeting minutes. To make a comment on the side, please fill out and public comment card with staff liaison or commenting remotely, log in to or call regular meetings, the information provided earlier with the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any cards?
No cards,
Any hands raised on Zoom?
no hands raised.
I'll not close public comment, bring it back to the commission. Or entertain motions. Does anyone have any questions or corrections to the May 16th minutes? Anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes of May 16th? Mr. Sean, you have a second? Second, John. If you're in favor, please verbally say aye.
Aye.
All ayes, one abstention from non-presence. All right, the motion is passed. Next item, Commissioner, please take time to review June 6th special meeting, if not that's already. Before I entertain motions, does anyone have any questions or corrections to those minutes? Want to make a motion to approve the minutes of June 6th? Motion, second. Sure, a second, all right. If you're in favor, please verbally say aye. Aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? One abstention, the motion passes. Presentation live or on Zoom? For item 6.
On Zoom, so let Matt, he is here. There he is.
After the last meeting, there was a hate crime incident that occurred within the city limits. Captain Matt Christopher from Pleasant Hill Police Department is joining us this evening via Zoom. Present on that. Welcome, Captain. I'll turn it over to you.
Hey, good evening, and thank you for having me. I see some familiar faces there, and as I understand it, do we have some new commissioners or a new commissioner in there? I'm trying to see with my eyes right now. Hey, there we go. Welcome. Great to have you. I appreciate everything that everybody is doing, volunteering your time to serve on this commission. So thank you for your service to our community. As a police officer for 25 years now, it's a very rewarding thing to give back to the community. So I appreciate you all being here. Chief Scott Vermillion couldn't be here this evening. He is hosting a Chiefs Advisory Panel meeting tonight, but he sends his regards to everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I just want to give you a real quick background. And my presentation tonight is really just to say hello to everybody, to give a case update on a recent hate crime, and to also reaffirm our support of the commission and as a resource for you all. Again, I've been with the police department for 25 years. I started as a reserve back in 1997 and was hired as a police officer in 1998. And so I've been here through 5 police chiefs. I've served in different roles and different ranks, and different city councils and mayors and commissions. And I've stayed here throughout it all, and really love our community, not just my police department that I work with, but the community. I'm a husband and a father. My wife Trang and I have been married for 23 years, together for 25, and we've got 3 kids, 2 off in college right now. And they're all super supportive of me and supportive of the city that I work for in our police department. One thing that I'm sure you're all aware, we have I'm assuming here that you're all aware that we have a new police chief, Scott Vermillion. Scott and I have worked together for over 20 years. We've done a lot together. And as a city and a police department, we're very lucky to have him. He's a very down-to-earth guy, if you've met him personally. Very easy to talk to, approachable, and unquestionable integrity. And his support for this commission and you all is unwavering. And I think he and I are both on the same page. It's kind of hard sometimes to see law enforcement and how we promote diversity and inclusivity and all those things, but words have to be followed by acts. So I know Scott and I are both committed, and our department's committed to taking those steps to support the commission and also promote our city's inclusivity and that everyone belongs. In fact, Danielle, we all signed our pledge last year. We all have our posters prominently posted at our offices. And by the way, welcome Erica, our new liaison here. But taking part in events with the commission, the Juneteenth celebration, taking part in the United Against Hate Week last year, and we're looking forward to this year, promoting these events on our social media. For the first year, and I absolutely appreciate and love this about Chief Vermillion. This year, he sent out an email to our entire department letting him know that starting June 1st and for the entire month, we were going to be flying the pride flag out in front of the police department, and that he purchased pins for all officers that wanted to wear them, and sent out the message, show your pride and stand together. And for him and me knowing being in law enforcement for 25 years, I loved seeing that come from the chief of our police department. And in fact, a lot of our officers wore their pins during the month, and it was great to see. So in my opinion, it's all baby steps and baby acts that we take, but we want you to know that our police department, again, is supportive of our community. And the inclusivity that we want everyone to feel. We want everybody to feel safe. And I know that's a part of the United Against Hate Week, is that everybody in our community feels safe. And as a part of that, I think as far as giving you just an aspect of myself, I mean, you can see I'm out of uniform right now. I've been living at the department this week because we're doing promotional testing. So I'm not trying to dress down, but I'm wearing a shirt right here. But I'll tell you a personal story about how I see the hate, just like you all do in our community. My family, my wife, she and her family fled during the fall of Saigon. She's Vietnamese. And so our family, I'm through marriage, a part of the AAPI community, but I've lived firsthand with her experience of racism here in our own county, and her family. Two of my nephews were assaulted, racially motivated assault in New York City this past year on a family vacation, and I've seen the hate firsthand just through personal experience and even with our social media. I know some of the comments that come in on our social media. We changed our image of our coin to recognize Pride Month, and some of the comments that come from the public, they're hurtful remarks and they show intolerance. And it pains me to see that. But I understand that everything takes time. A sequoia tree starts with a seed, that type of thing. So again, I just appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate moving forward with Juneteenth. I love the creative idea. I don't know if it was Floyd that started the ball rolling with the idea of getting it. If we could roll that Wednesday into off the grid. You've got the audience right there, and just bring everybody out. The more, the merrier. So I love that idea. I mean, I think for all events based out of and starting in this commission, I want to see more and more people come out to the events. So I'm going to get off my soapbox right there, and I just want to let you guys know a case update that we had. Was reported as a hate crime road rage incident July 6th. in Pleasant Hill. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I'll give you a summary. It is still an active investigation, so I won't go into too many details because we're still working with the district attorney on the filing of charges. But we had a road rage incident between two drivers. We had our victim, female driver, she was a Black female. We had our suspect, male driver, was a white male. One car allegedly cut off the other car. Cars pulled beside each other. Someone threw the middle finger. Words are exchanged, but then words that are exchanged are racial slurs and derogatory remarks directed at our victim. And that was followed up by cars following each other, and then our suspect using pepper spray to spray apparently through the window of the other of our victim's car. There's absolutely no reason that this should have happened, but as soon as it was reported to us, we assisted our victim and got her medical care that she would accept, and got right on top of the investigation. When hate crimes are reported to us, or crimes that have an element of a hate crime, we make it a high priority. And that day, it so happened that our sergeant that was working, he's very adept at working through technology, and we have license plate reader cameras in our town. And although our victim only had a partial license plate that didn't come back to a car matching the description, he searched images of license plates that had passed through the area at that time, found a very close match, found the registered owner, found the registered owner was a resident of a local community, developed a photographic lineup, and showed our victim and got a positive ID. With that, he sent out a countywide BOLO for all of our agencies to be on the lookout for the subject with probable cause to arrest for this crime. And then our detectives went to work and got out there, and they literally hunted down this guy with Martinez Police Department, located him at a local restaurant in the city of Martinez, and made an arrest and booked him into county jail. Now, details of the investigation beyond that are, I'm not going to disclose any more about the investigation at this point, because it is still, there's more follow-up to be done for there to be a filing with our district attorney. They have reviewed it. But I kind of want to give you an idea of hate crimes in our county. When they are reported to our district attorney's office, there is the DA's office has a community violence reduction unit, and they examine all alleged hate crimes, and they determine if the crime fits and can be filed, if criminal charges are filed in those cases. And the DA's decisions to charge or not charge in all of these cases, they base it on their professional and ethical obligation to only charge crimes that they believe can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So when it is obvious for us to make an arrest as police officers, because we only need probable cause, there's clearly a higher standard for our district attorney when it comes to charging. And oftentimes people don't necessarily consider that. When it comes to something as an alleged hate crime, such a heinous crime in our opinion, that we want the most justice to come to these people, we also have to consider the limitations and considerations of our district attorney. So we always present the best cases that we can, though, and we always want to make sure that we secure criminal charges as best we can. So for that case that was just filed, it is not, it is filed, but there is additional follow-up requested by our district attorney, so we do not have a case filing decision at this time. Does anybody have any questions about that case that I can answer?
I would just like to say, I really appreciate the fact that as soon as Chief Vermillion found out, he let me know, and I was able to, disseminate that information to the commission. So I really, really appreciate that. Such quick follow-up and response from your department. That's super helpful, just so everyone knows what's going on and everything like that. And I'm sure that maybe it's not the case everywhere, but it's the case here, so I really, really appreciate it, and I thank you all for that.
Thank you very much. I will pass that on, and Floyd, that does not surprise me that Chief Vermillion would be right on top of it like that. Thank you.
How often do cases like that happen?
It's actually rare in our city. I think we've had 2 incidents this year so far, and we're in July. It's rare, and as I've seen since the coronavirus seemed to kind of turn our society on their head, there's more people acting out and acting out with their racism and their bigotry and just more so than ever since I've been alive and been able to pay attention. So that's actually surprising to me that we do have so few. These are only the reported crimes, because I could tell you the crimes that happen out there, including my brother-in-law, they never reported that to New York PD because it just, he rescued his boys and it wasn't worth their time in their opinion. My wife's experience wasn't a crime. It was just racism, so these events, they happen every day out there, and I'm sure they happen in our fine city, even the people that flow through our city. But we only have a low number reported to the police department, and I would hope and encourage, obviously, any crimes that occur in our city that we would have those reported. I think our community is used to reaching out to us to help.
Well, what is the difference between it being like just racism and being a hate crime?
Well, I think as there's
as a prosecutor.
Yeah, that's actually that's a very good question. In fact, I'm gonna break it down for the DAs because I specifically wanted the DA's definition for consideration, just so you could think of what the DA has to think about, and I actually have it right here that I want you to consider. Now, when reviewing for hate crimes, and they clarified this for us, the use of offensive, inflammatory language does not, in of itself, qualify as a hate crime under law. It's the underlying crime needs to be motivated by the animosity of the suspect toward the person of the protected class. So quite literally, the crime that you're saying the words, but a crime's been committed. Now, was the crime that was committed because of this person's animosity towards your protected class? And do we have evidence to show that? Do we have proof of that aside from those words?
Essentially, a second intent element becomes an answer. So you have to have a crime. Racism itself is not illegal. The crimes are legal, and this be the second intent element to overlay it, which then usually enhances. This makes the punishment worse as well. Usually a big difference.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, my earpiece. The volume is, I think I followed all that, and I think you're right on point. my earpiece, I got a little bit of a echo going on here.
So do you think people are underreporting then in our area?
I can only assume that. I can only assume that. Again, at the same time, our community is so tight. As far as everybody that lives in Pleasant Hill, everybody knows everyone else. I'm sorry to make it sound like we live in a small town, but we really live in a small town. Now, most people that live and work here know to call the police department if they've been the victim of a crime, and certainly to call us and get us there to the scene if they've been the victim of a crime and they were attacked and attacked verbally as well. If they were the victim of racism and they were the victim of the crime, I would assume that we would get a call from everybody. But at the same time, maybe I'm just taking my own personal experience into account in other cities and other states that these things happen and they're not reported. So that's a huge assumption. But it wouldn't surprise me if, we have 2 this year. It wouldn't surprise me if we had a 3rd that was never reported. Because my wife, it's not the first time for her, and she blows things off as ignorance. My brother-in-law, he just wanted to get his family out of there, and he just knows that people are ignorant and are racist. And although his sons were assaulted, they weren't injured, so it was not a something that he wanted to bother with. But so it was an unreported hate crime.
I wonder if it would help to like have something in the Outlook or something that says that this is what the police does when there is a hate crime in our area. I wonder if people know.
Possibly that, or maybe a potential community conversation. This would be a good time to use that potentially.
We add that to potential outlook topics coming up. Well, anything else for Captain Christie? I know he's got a little station. That's why it's still there.
Thank you for your time.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any city ordinance that would make a crime punishable in the city of Pleasant Hill with like a fine if it's committed here? So let's say a hate crime is committed in the boundaries of Pleasant Hill. Would the individual who is then convicted of the crime, would they be able to pay a fine to the city of Pleasant Hill? Do we have anything like that in our ordinances?
That is a great question, and I don't believe so. I don't profess to be all-knowing of all of our city ordinances, although I know most of them and a lot of them. Not that I am aware of at this time. I think the city relies on our criminal justice system to handle that. Erica, are you aware of any?
I'm not, but we can certainly follow up.
Yeah. Let me take a deep dive, and I will get back to Erica before your next meeting. I'll get back to Erica and let her know what I find, but I don't believe so. Okay. That's actually all I have to share this evening. Does anybody have any other questions for me this evening?
Thank you so much, Captain Christie. We appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it. And please let me know. Erica has all of my contact information. Again, Chief Vermillion and I are a resource for the commission. If you guys ever have a question about a case that the commission is interested in, or something happening in the community that the police department might be able to help with, please feel free to reach out. And also for future meetings, whether it's the chief or I or a member of our patrol staff, an officer, a school resource officer, a community resource officer, if you'd like anybody to come in to speak with the commission that you'd like to just to get to know better, and that you have any specific questions that you'd like to answer, please feel free, because we're always willing to come and visit during your meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. Thanks so much. You all take care. Have a good evening.
So moving on to subcommittee updates, I realized we need to get Jeff and Matt here quick. I didn't actually get to the other half of the who has the update, which is President Brown. Is there anything else you want to say on Juneteenth, or do you want to table it until we start setting up budget for the next one?
I think maybe we should just decide like what month we want to start, because this year was too late.
Yeah, for sure.
When did we actually start? Was it 3 months out?
Well, we did start early enough, but then Assam left and she was the chair of that subcommittee, so we had a few like silent months.
Should we say January?
Yeah, probably,
Okay.
well, at least start with getting the sponsors and picking out dates and stuff.
Sponsor packets.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe one levels this time.
Yeah, we need to like decide what those are, know what we're asking for.
Probably November, December, I think,
Yeah, okay.
for CAC, for the concerts, we start around November, December, but, and I know it won't be as intense, as theirs, but if the earlier, well, here's the other thing, the earlier we start, then we can make sure that all of our parking materials are ready for them as well, so make sure we get that in, so we're all set and ready to go. Because we're also gonna have to deal with, conflicting sponsors and everything like that, let's just make sure we have all our ducks in a row. So,
Okay, can we get that on the calendar, make sure you come in November? This makes the-
December.
Or even October, because we have the holidays, so sometimes we don't have that many meetings.
I agree with October or something.
Yeah, let's do it, we'll get distracted, I think, and then it'll come January, yeah.
So 3 meetings from now. Okay.
October, okay.
This is our baby.
I mean, his feedback was.
His feedback was great. Is Juneteenth the event that, the premier event of the Diversity Commission, or are there other events that you all?
I think it is now.
Okay, I just wanted
We'll
to
be
know.
on for that.
I'm already, we had a table, like the night, we had a table,
Yeah.
community service day, which was both good, but this,
Yes.
y'all brought it out.
And we could do more with United Against Hate Week.
And
That's a great
Then
question.
we have to plan that earlier.
they have a planning, United Against Hate Week has a planning meeting, this Thursday that I'm attending as the city representative, so I will provide that information to
Oh,
the
that'd be
commission
great.
right after that, so that event is, it's in November, I think it's the week of November 8th, but don't quote me on that. So I'll provide that information to the commission after that meeting.
And the other thing I'd probably add to the report is just that I liked having that family hour first, so like unique drink and the bubbles, like having that. Like, I know he was talking about moving it back from 6 to 8, but I think like having a family hour 5 to 6 or something like that would be, I'd like to keep.
My daughter loved it, I know
Oh,
that,
yeah.
especially Princess Tiana.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have that for Princess, yeah.
I did learn that Parks and Rec has a teen council that helps out volunteers at their events, so we might be able to get some workers or volunteers from that group for next year, so get some help, so yeah, just like that.
So before I left, there was a presentation from a scoutmaster who had mentioned that there is a new merit badge for diversity. So potentially scout involvement in some fashion.
At least the flyers to kind of advertise.
Or if they meet over at Stanwood, right, all that, so.
I can't remember this.
At least that one, but I think, where's that one? Pleasant Hill Elementary probably has another scout.
I feel like I would be at that one, but it's
Oh,
just.
there's no
He
scout?
sent us
Okay.
an email a long time ago, and we still have his contact.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
It was fun,
It was so great. I like to have that communication center here, that's a great idea. If we had this room, like we didn't have anything, someone, I don't know how we found for water, you know, what I mean, things like that. One central location.
I received feedback from a community member that attended the event, and they attend a lot of our events, and they said at this event, they actually met a lot of the neighbors that they hadn't seen around in Pleasant Hills, and they had seen that there was more diversity in the event than the events that they've attended in the past, so they were really happy with it, and they wanted to come back next year.
Back to school subcommittee. So.
I don't know.
Oh, were we gonna discuss standing one up? Is that why it's on there?
It was on the April, agenda when Danielle was still in charge and you guys were in like the pros' hands and not a rookie's. So, I'm not sure, I thought that because back to school was coming up next month,
We wrote the article.
and there was
There's
a,
an
yeah, there was an
article.
article.
I think it was just.
Stop laughing.
Anything.
Well, it's back to school in 3 weeks, so.
Good luck today.
Yeah,
And maybe, I think there was discussion last time about like resources in the article, in the Outlook article, so I don't know if it ties to that agenda item. Maybe, I think there was,
I did write a lengthier article and then I had to cut it in half and then in half again,
yes.
so.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
yes,
so
That's
you're
why-
Writing this article is a very.
250 words,
Yeah,
yes.
It's like very.
Alright,
What I expect we will probably be talking more about community service day for what we're going on the fall. So I think maybe it makes sense to disband whoever's on the back to school subcommittee for now and talk about it early summer next year. But entertain discussion, or if everybody wants to make a motion to disband that. That's okay.
Motion to disband.
Second by Lou, ayes? Ayes. Any nays? Abstentions, none? Motion passes. So it is disbanded for now. All right. Moving on to the commission liaison updates. CAC.
We're supposed to share, but I did not vote.
When's the next meeting?
I think they're the first Wednesday of the month.
We should make a schedule.
I need to make it, yeah. That's every time.
Liaisons to that.
Yes. Yep. I know Lloyd.
What's the
So
question?
you guys are sharing,
Yes.
okay.
Unless anybody else.
I would say, I would better,
We're trying to make schedules.
I was definitely on the CC president.
You don't mind being on this?
Yeah, first Wednesday of each month.
You said first Wednesday, first Wednesday.
Was no update, the update from the commission?
Yes, there have been 2 meetings since our last meeting. The first meeting, they reviewed and discussed the housing element and how that would affect the aging community. They were concerned about not having enough older generation housing. So, which kind of ties into what was discussed at the city council meeting last night with the core program and homelessness, that a lot of individuals that are in retirement age right now are not able to afford their bills and are living out of their car in our community. They had a conversation on engagement and how to engage people who are not participating in what is being offered. They have identified issues of mobility, health, and accessibility, which is similar to us with our diversity. How do we provide accessible services to everyone in Pleasant Hill? And then they began or continued a discussion on Thinkers and Tinkers. They are hosting an ice cream booth. And one of the commissioners that is running the ice cream booth had reached out and asked if we would be interested in partnering with them and doing the ice cream booth together for Thinkers and Tinkers. There's a Tinkers and Tinkers, one way or the other.
What's the date on?
The date is 9/9, September.
Did they move it?
Did you move it?
Because it was on the 16th.
Oh, no, sorry, maybe that was, maybe that's my
I
mistake.
did. So it was scheduled on Rosh Hashanah, I sent an email.
I didn't move it, because I think there is a different date. That was the date, that was given on 6/8.
They moved it.
Okay, and then when I attended the 6/8 meeting, I asked them to provide information to their people about the Juneteenth event, and they did also advocate for us after that meeting.
I know it's the 16th. I mean, their website.
It said this and then this past meeting that happened on 7/13, they reviewed their satisfaction survey results. They had the survey out for a number of months, trying to determine how to provide services for the aging population in Pleasant Hill. They found, which I thought was interesting for us to know as well, that people preferred email alerts for events. But they also found that a lot of people didn't know how to access, to sign up for the email alerts for the events. And they discussed creating subcommittees to address results of the survey and the next steps of how they can reach out to the community. The biggest concerns that were highlighted in this survey was crime, safety, and accessibility. And so they are trying to figure out how to take that to the city council. That could be something that we can maybe look at partnering with them as well. They also talked about how the survey showed that individuals were more interested in recreation and walking trails, that we don't have enough of those available in Pleasant Hill. And so they are going to be taking those to Park and Rec. And they wanted to do a promotion on workshops. Comments from the public was that they don't know how to get information, so they wanted to do pop-up workshops and teach how to access information that is readily available. Again, they talked about ice cream for thinkers and tinkers. They are looking for volunteers. They reached out to the senior center to see if anyone was interested in volunteering, and they received 1 volunteer. So they are really wanting to partner and see if there's anything that we can do. And then they are deciding to, not this time, but maybe next time, form a subcommittee on social isolation. They also have a brief workshop coming up in December. That was it.
I want to say that's the most detailed. Wow. We're all gonna have to step up our game. You're gonna.
Your PowerPoint on that phone, so.
Can I not follow you on
No.
I think you can move yourself up if you wanted to.
Gosh, okay. Well, anybody comments, thoughts, responses?
The ice cream, the thinker, what is that about, the thinkers and teachers?
It's an event that is hosted in collaboration with the library. And they do like a science, it's not a science fair, it's like a
makers.
maker space for kids.
Oh, for kids, okay, I didn't know.
Okay.
It's a really great event.
in the senior center over there.
Oh, okay, so it's for the kids.
It's for families and there's lots of kids there. They have, like last year they were building rockets and then like shooting the rockets into the sky. It was really amazing. I think that having a diversity commission there would be great. You can access a lot of families. They would love going to that event. And I don't know if we wanted to do our own booth. That just sounds like a lot of work right now as it's in like next month. No, in September. Oh my gosh, I'm already in August, y'all. Or if we wanted to partner with them and see if we can collaborate on the ice cream, which would be we would volunteer and teach the kids how to make ice cream.
Saturday
I was just thinking.
I think she said the date was the 16th.
Okay.
We have to confirm the date.
Their website says.
Till Saturday.
If it stays the 16th, I do. I'm trying to reference.
We can come to senior center, so it goes back. That'd be fun.
I just have, I have a concern that being the diversity commission and they scheduled this event on like a really important Jewish holiday. I don't think it was very respectful decision. But, I don't wanna like not help the the Commission on Aging out because of somebody else's decision. Think that like we would never schedule this on Easter or on Christmas and I think it feels respectful.
Commission on Aging is not responsible for the
Yeah.
event. I know that the library and somebody else.
Oh, I thought it was it's Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. I can confirm the date, because I have the 9th written down, so
Okay.
I don't know if they changed it.
Did maybe it's out,
Because it's probably the website being the latest.
If you get that information, can you share it to Erica and then share that to us? Maybe, or maybe between meetings in the month, doing business off the books.
I have a question. Since you brought up whoever brought up that this event was Parks and Rec. Does Parks and Rec have a diversity committee?
I don't know.
They're under their purview,
Yeah,
that's no?
I don't think so, but I'm not totally sure, but not that I know of.
I can ask, I know someone in person.
Yeah, they should be mindful.
And of course, Parks and Rec is separate from the city as well.
Understood.
thanks for
But it doesn't mean that we can't participate, right?
Yeah.
I
That's
No, thanks for that perspective. Doing it, that's fine.
Anything else on that brief? Long enough to roam, I visited Carl and this.
I am the new representative from the planning commission to the diversity commission. If there's anything you'd like to bring up to the planning commission, I can be your conduit. I did want to bring something up that I had made note of at some point, and I can't remember what the date was, but I see all these district maps up, and I believe it was Commissioner Johnson who had brought up that potentially the housing element should have been a subject of conversation at the diversity commission. So there's probably parts of it that you were aware of, having watched that really, really long meeting. But as I look at the district maps up, does the diversity commission, or did the diversity commission have representation at these discussions for the city, at the city council? So that's a question
For the districting,
for the district.
I can say that I participated in the conversations, but not as a resident, the diversity commission.
Okay. I believe they're voting on it next week, this week, yesterday, oh, already yesterday, okay, I am already behind.
Do we know what the decision was?
On the 9 to 5.
So they read the resolution twice. Yesterday was the second reading, and draft map 5 is the official districts. And in 30 days, it's going to go into our records, as these are the districts for present.
So Common is closed.
Yes, okay.
have people come and the public comment and comment to the diversity commission
Okay,
on district mapping, not the housing element.
okay.
Yeah.
District map,
Yeah.
that's great, the next one will be coming up in 8 years, so the next time around.
So will the districts in 8 years after,
Okay.
so after the census happens, then they look to make sure that the numbers are still accurate and how the districts are split, and then that's when the district conversation.
So just so I'm clear, I'm not even sure, so I'm not sure the agenda later to reintroduce you and speak to it. But you are also still on the planning commission and you're.
I'm the planning commission representative to the diversity commission.
And you are now also on the diversity commission, backing up the diversity commission, okay. Who is our planning commission, who is our diversity rep to the planning commission? That was the person I was looking for.
But I think we do both, right?
I guess I
I
would.
think, wasn't it Johanna was
she was.
in sitting in that same role and was.
Oh, I mean, if you'll
Liaison
take it, that's
with
great,
both.
I don't, do we inherit? I'm not sure that you inherit your predecessor's job, but if you're willing to take
I
it,
thought that was what,
that'd be
at
great,
least in
it's a nice
the,
symmetry to it.
in the 1.0 days, I think Ken Carlson at the time was saying there was a council person representation to the diversity commission, and also, I believe that's on the website, under the
I
diversity
think that
commission.
was how the.
It was originally set up, yeah.
Interesting, so we've done it both both
Because
ways.
we voted, right, for
But I have no concerns with you. It's a nice symmetry.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm totally happy if someone else would like to take that role, to be the representative to Plum Ridge.
Anybody want to?
those meetings for fun,
Yeah.
not.
Do we need to, I mean, is she in or do we need to
I
bring her into it?
So I think the way it was written on the agenda last night, I think was written in as her being the representative for planning.
Excellent. All right,
Welcome back. Welcome and thank you.
all right. We will talk more about this in a second, but let's get to our, the September, October Outlook articles. And we had a great write-up in July. Thank you very much. These were very, I love the data, and I love that we got an lead, space to put in the data. Thank you. Want to talk about the upcoming Outlook articles? Does anybody want to take on coming up for, because we're due July 28th, we're due very soon to get it. 10 days.
That is for September, October.
Yes.
I have a question. Last year, or no, sorry, maybe not last year, previous last year, David Hendrickson and I had worked on the Indigenous people write-up, but I don't know if it went anywhere. And I don't know if I still have a link to it, but he and I wrote something fairly extensive. We shared some information back and forth, and I think it was because it was after the. Yeah.
Does it, do they have the old copies on the website?
They do, yeah.
I don't know.
But you don't think it got
Wasn't
published?
published.
Yeah, so
It wasn't published.
we missed our
Oh, you know,
deadline.
Yes.
Did you share it with Danielle by chance?
No, I'll have to go back and look at my emails. Let me see if I can find something in my emails. Would that be
Yeah, that'd be
okay?
great.
Okay.
This is what, is the second weekend in October? Or
It's the whatever called.
The second
Formally called.
Yes.
so October 9th. Yeah, so that's good. That's probably about when it'll come out.
And you would probably know this, I assume that the CAC is not doing the same sort of diversity focused articles going forward, because that's kind of.
I'm not
Okay.
sure,
Okay.
but
I know they
can-
don't have a
can
diversity
find something
commission.
that I can find out.
Okay. So I think it's important that we continue to take that on, because I don't think they have that role anymore, so it would be.
Oh, you mean, is there a subcommittee? No,
Exactly.
yes,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
I thought you meant, were they interested in writing an article about that? Okay.
We're all very happy to take your article, but do we need a contingency plan, or are you fairly certain it's out there?
I think it's somewhere, but if I remember correctly, it would have needed to have been reviewed by the commission before it gets published.
We didn't, yeah, we haven't been doing it the last couple.
Okay,
We need a quicker turnaround.
We've been delegating autonomy and authority.
okay,
And it's the
so
last-
let me agree that I will look for it and try to get it to Erica ASAP, and if Erica can share it out to the commission, gather any comments, what's the date?
The 28th, next Friday.
Oh, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? What is our, like for these Outlook articles, is there something that we need to be focused on these? Is there a writing prompt?
We go ahead.
Well, I think we just need to be focused on like the mission of the
commission.
Yeah.
Okay.
just that we're about creating a sense of belonging and creating a community that's inclusive, so just about highlighting those values.
Okay.
I think. But there's no writing prompt, so we usually pick the topic together and then one or two people write it.
The closest thing to a writing prompt is us looking at the calendar, front loading out what weeks, days, or months are coming up.
Yeah,
And trying to land a recognition article
Sure.
or recognition day, week, or month.
Sure.
That's gonna be closest to a prompt.
I think the last thing is just adding any events in the city that's happening, that's related to, or advertising the company.
and it's 250 words.
Right.
Max, yeah, and you can put images,
Yeah.
You
pictures.
can do what?
You can put images and
Okay.
pictures as well.
And Jeff makes you cut it down if you're,
Yeah, you have ones, yeah.
I didn't try to sneak in 400.
Yeah.
I think we do have a guide from.
Oh, yeah, this, and they want it written at an 8th grade level.
Not too
That's
Did you guys get hands?
I hadn't heard that you heard that. Was that from Jeff?
Nothing that was from Danielle.
Yeah, that's right, I heard.
Maybe we don't have to pay attention to that one.
It's true.
Is it September 15th to October 15th is also Hispanic Heritage Month. I don't know if we want to,
Are we on the last one?
we're only on one.
So does the diversity commission, we are assigned like an article?
What we said to ourselves, I think we just tried to, like, we've taken this on.
Well, what I mean was we're assigned a space, we're providing the space, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that in addition to the Outlook, the bi-weekly update is another option for you guys to provide information to the community, so
What is
as
that?
it's like an email blast that
Okay.
goes out to people who may or may not know how to sign up for the email information. So it's just something, another option for you guys every 2 weeks that goes out from Jeff's office. So small bits of information, like if you wanted to do the larger article, that sounds like it's somewhere, that's already written, and then also do the, like hey, Hispanic Heritage Month is gonna be September 15th through October 15th. That's another option for you guys to share information and push it out to the community.
So for clarification, last year, there was no Outlook article from the diversity commission.
I
For
do not,
September, so.
I do not.
I did the Hispanic Heritage.
Oh, it's just like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I think it was probably 2 years ago that the articles from.
I found it.
All right.
Probably not. Share it to
You can just send it to me and I'll send it out to the rest of the commission.
All right, well, our newest member needs no introduction at this point, but it is my pleasure to welcome back Celia Chang, who, was at the beginning here with me, has been doing great things elsewhere, is now also all things planning commission for us. So I've heard Celia for a bit, but, so glad you're back.
Thank you.
Welcome back,
Planning to come to the events, but being derailed every single time. I was planning to come to Juneteenth and I unfortunately fell ill, so I couldn't come. I did come for the community service day last year, post wrap up. And otherwise I had been on the planning commission. Went to the housing element, that was eventful. And I still have 2 more years on the planning commission, and I'm happy to be back. Thank you.
We'll give you a little bit more formal introduction in August, but glad to have you back. I've got one other thing, is
Question too. Are we going to do something for community service day that we?
that's the next thing on me. You're not like
Are we still one commissioner short? We're supposed to have 9.
Well, I don't, I think
Who's the
I
representative?
still have Kesha.
Yeah, so she would make 8, right?
Oh,
The website.
the website needs to be updated.
Alright, so,
Yes.
last topic of the evening, Community Service Day is coming up, September 23rd. We, in what is sometimes our fashion, we very quickly got together, our own booth, which we collected kits or portions of kits for a homeless community. We filled a couple bins, we were successful. We can do something similar like that again, but we're 2 months out, 2 months, and we will have 2 meetings before that, right?
Yes, you'll have the August and September
So
meeting.
we have some opportunities to plan as a group, but we also, so there's sort of a range of things. One range being we do something original, another slightly, we do something on our own, but do the same thing. We could join as a group, one of the other groups that'll be operating that day, or as some other commissions doing, just signing up as you wish individually for projects around that day. Open the floor, what you're thinking.
Do we know what projects are already planned?
They have a list, I can send out the email where there's a sign up and you can view other projects.
Do we know how the homeless kits, I mean, we put them together, but do we know how they were received?
You know, they went to Jeff, I took the collection materials back a couple, months later, so, they emptied out of our bins, but I didn't hear where they actually did.
Mind doing that again?
Where did we get the backpacks from? Those were donated?
Yeah, I can't remember who did that.
Yeah, so Dave Hendrickson took a big, was a big leader in that one.
Yeah, kind of before context for.
As far as person power, does it make more sense to own things
That's what we
okay
did,
with
yeah,
that?
we had our own table,
That
we
was
worked
great.
there, we were sort of in the area where other things, so they just did like a circle of drop-offs, and we were one of the drop-off stations, so there was like food, there's something else, and there was
Like
us.
tissue boxes or something.
Yeah,
Some
just
people
like
just
over
leave
there,
cars and just come by.
Yeah,
And there was just a couple of us there, and then there'd be a separate day where we would just gather everything and actually make the kits. So you can do either or both. We have to research our contacts for, we got backpacks.
yeah. They've turned over so much, I don't know if we have those contacts, maybe gone. It might be
We
real,
don't have
maybe
enough time to advertise to the community of what we need.
And then my next question was, or would it make sense to, because I know they always need extra support with, maybe like, food bins or something like that. Or we could, have the main stations, we could, advertise our own information within that.
That's just be visible, like collectively, wear our shirts, wear our nameplates, work collectively somewhere, just indicate that the diversity commission is out doing this thing. Great idea too. What other folks think?
Maybe for the next meeting, we could like have the list of projects then.
Yeah, we don't have to figure this out now, especially if it's going to be something along what Boyd is suggesting, just do that. They will not turn down the labor.
Or we could even check in with the next Civic Action Commission meeting and see where they need extra support and
So they
how-
responsible
what's the best.
Are they lead on it? Okay, we get it.
Erica, does it need to get first, the list of projects?
It's, and I can send it out via email, it's like I think it's a live list or.
Like, yeah, like a
Um,
Google spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because I know there's tons of moving parts from the very beginning of the day. And so there's a lot of t-shirt
I think we
passing out,
okay.
and all kinds of different things.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to support that, right?
Anybody else want to say anything on this topic before we close that topic? Well then, thank you all for participating in tonight's meeting. We are now adjourned to our next regular meeting on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. Now, a quick announcement, Eric, I just probably for you. I will be missing the next meeting, probably.
We're gonna stay here.
No,